Let's talk more about it with our buddy Kevin Burke, HoopDoctors.com, here at Sports 630 KIDO, KIDO.com. Hey, man.
Terry, what's going on, friend?
Well, I'll be honest with you. My eyes bled for 2 hours last night. Oh, my God. And look, I'm not going to – was it a great defensive effort by UConn? Yes. I mean, that was – if they'd have played defense like that through the whole tournament, you know, I mean, they ramped it up last night. Did Butler play really good defense? Yes. It was a wonderful, titanic, you know, defensive DVD how-to the youngsters. Okay, let's get that out of the way. It was an eyesore. It took offensive basketball back 50 years.
Yep.
Terrible.
It certainly did. Butler, the thing that kills me the most was that they were outscored in the paint 26-2. I mean, the disparity in this game, you can go down the list, you can go down the line. There's so many that are just, you know, jump off the page here. That's what really kills me. 26-2 in the paint. I mean, Oriaki stepped up big, Aquandu stepped up big, altered shots. But even on the perimeter, UConn did ramp it up. I thought Butler just missed a lot of makeable shots, though, in the same breath. Well,
I'll tell you what, Kevin, and I'll ask you this. I believe that Butler, because of the shot blocking by UConn and the altering of shots early, Butler was totally intimidated. And you're right about they were in position to make shots, but you know how it goes, Kevin. When you get your shot blocked a few times, you start rushing everything because you want to get your shot blocked. And you start altering your shot. You start doing a lot of double pumping. You do a lot of up and under stuff. You know, you don't go aggressively at the shot blocker with anger anymore. Now you're intimidated.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we hear so much that, you know, Brad Stevens is the future of college basketball. If he's the future, we're in good hands, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Butler took 33 three-pointers yesterday and 31 two-pointers. I mean, that, I think, is some sort of indictment on the coach because they never trailed by a huge margin where you have to jack up so many threes in order to get back into the game. They took, I think, more threes in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, than two-pointers when the game was kind of back and forth the entire first half. This team made 3 two-point field goals yesterday and made 9 three-pointers. I think Brad Stevens may have dropped the ball. You know, people are killing him because they switched to a zone. He had to switch it up because, you know, their man-to-man wasn't working. But he has to, at some point, dial back the three-pointer. I thought that, you know, you live by the three, and unfortunately you die by it, and they certainly died by it yesterday. But definitely an eyesore. I mean, 53-41. I mean, well, you can go so many different ways with it. I mean, at the end of the day, UConn is the national champion. And to go back to your point about Butler, yes, this is going to be the lasting impression in everyone's mind. You know, the mid-major cynics, you know, kind of like myself, I was left feeling, and I wrote this on the HoopDoctors.com today saying, you know, this is kind of, it felt like they didn't belong on this stage. That's probably unfair, but that's what I felt watching. I kind of said to myself, I told you so. These guys are buying enough more than they can chew. But at the same time, who makes it to 2 national championship games,
right,
you know, back-to-back? So it can't be that much of a fluke. So I'm still kind of torn.
Kevin Burke, HoopDoctors.com, Sports 630 KIDO, KIDO.com. Terry Fortune. On the flip side is, as bad as Butler shot the rock, dude, up until about 10 minutes to go, this was a tight game because, A, Butler's defense, and B, UConn couldn't put the ball in the hoop either.
Yeah, Butler's poor shooting performance kind of hides the fact that UConn shot terribly as well. I mean, no one's talking about that because, you know, Butler shot 18.8%. But I mean, they came out of this, you know, they missed 23 of their first 25 shots in the second half. It was a 14-minute stretch where they had 1 field goal. It was just disgusting. And, I mean, I don't know. It was disgusting. UConn played a terrible game as well. I think that the best thing that happened to UConn in the tournament was Arizona being Duke. I really think that Duke would have gotten UConn had they met. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there. It is what it is. There's national champions, new national champ. UConn's got 3. Calhoun's legacy, he's in rarefied air now, even though folks are not giving him his credit. But, I mean, it is what it is. 850-plus wins, 3 titles. What can you say about that? Numbers don't lie.
Kevin Burke, HoopDoctors.com, Sports 630 KIDO, KIDO.com. Terry Fortune. I'm no Jim Calhoun fan because let's just face a fact here. Jimmy doesn't do everything above board, but hell, who does anymore? But, you know, you got to take a step back and say, first of all, this collection of players won a national championship. I know it's a down year in college basketball, but winning with this team is far and away the best coaching job he's ever done. Because if you sit back and look at this squad, you go, huh? How did this happen?
Yep. Yeah, in 99 and 04, the first 2 championships, they were probably arguably one of the top, you know, one or two or three best schools in the country. They began this season unranked.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't get on the board until they ran the table at the Mile Invitational. They beat two top 10 teams. They beat a number 7 Michigan State and a number 9 Kentucky. I mean, they embarrassed those games, and they said, hey, wait a minute. Who are these UConn guys? Who's this Kemba Walker guy, Jeremy Lamb? They're absolutely right. I mean, you take Kemba and the kids as if Kemba's, old, like 19. But, I mean, Kemba, seriously, I mean, this is a heck of a coaching job. Yeah, to your point, he doesn't do everything above the table, but then again, who does? I mean, we're hearing a lot of talk about maybe this championship will get vacated. It's not going to get vacated because the guy in question, Nate Miles, never suited up, never dribbled the ball, never played a game for UConn. This is as safe as it gets for Calhoun and for UConn.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, the kid never played there, and it's not going to get vacated. I mean, he gets his 3-game suspension, and as long as nothing comes around, they can definitely hook him to knowing everything. And again, like I've always said, Kevin, the smart coaches in college basketball or football just put enough bodies in front of them to take the bullets, so it never gets to them. It's like the Sopranos, and and as long as Calhoun has enough bodies in front of him that the bullets never get to him on this thing. Now, I'll be honest with you and I think he knew. But if you can't prove it, it doesn't matter if you can't prove it.
They all know.
Sure they do. If they're Kevin, if they're worth a crap as a coach, they know.
They have to know what the folks underneath them, so to speak, are doing. Yeah, exactly. If they're not, then they're running way too loose of a ship. They have to know.
Kevin Burke, HoopDoctors.com, Sports 630 KIDO, KIDO.com, Terry Ford Show. Now, and again, I'll go again. This is going to be the whole thing about it. Back in the old days, I watched this game last night, and look, the beauty of college basketball is you've got to win the games. It's one on the court. You got to go and you got to win 6 in a row and win a national championship. I mean, so you can never take away a championship from someone, and UConn earned it. As ugly as that game was on both sides, UConn gets to hoist the banner. But I'm just sitting here saying, because of where we're at in college basketball today, this UConn team might be the worst national champion when it comes to talent that we've seen in our lifetime. I mean, who could they beat? The only two that you can think of, the Cinderella NC State team, the Cinderella Villanova team, could they beat either one of those squads?
Right. Yeah. It was a down year, like you said, across the board. I mean, everyone's consensus number one was Ohio State, but even so, you saw if you had to nitpick and pick it apart, you saw flaws in that game, in that team. But I mean, they got hot at the right time. They definitely got hot at the right time. So, I mean, this year, you're absolutely right. We didn't crown the best team in college basketball. But how often do we do that anyway? How often does the best team, I mean, last year, Kansas, number 1, lost to Northern Iowa, eventual champion with Duke. So, we didn't crown the best team last year, but no one's talking about Duke because they're Duke, and because UConn, I guess, was, again, not even ranked to begin the season. So, UConn's story may actually be, their story from the start of the season to yesterday might be a better story than Butler's. I mean, because they came out of nowhere. Butler was kind of on everyone's radar. Did you see what Butler did last year? UConn wasn't even ranked. So, I mean, you could make an argument that this was a better story, but of course it's UConn, so it's not a better story than a Butler. But listen, that program is going nowhere but up. I mean, they're gonna I think get a lot of top flight recruits coming there eventually. Provided they can keep Brad Stevens there, I'm sure they can. And how about Shaka Smart staying in Virginia Commonwealth? What was it, NC State?
Yep.
Wow, I got to throw in the old cliche. Was that Shaka not so smart decision? I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't throw it in there.
I was stunned that cat stayed at VCU. But then again, they gave him a raise from $350,000 to $1.2 million.
$1.2 million. Yeah,
at VCU.
They have no money to pay the students. That's why.
Hey, exactly. Who cares about the rest of the universe? Let it all go into crap, or we got to pay Shaka. Hey, and you bring up a point about Connecticut. And so it just hit me when you said this. All right, we look at UConn. Preseason, not ranked. They win the Maui, then they go in the Big East. They're a mediocre team in conference, 9-9. Who cares? Whatever. They've kind of fallen off the radar. Then they make that run through the Big East tournament, and they win the Big East tournament, playing 5 games in 2 days or whatever in God's name that mess was. So then they run the table, win the NCAA tournament. Now, in my opinion, I thought they were kind of at 4. I was like, wow, you're seeding UConn at 4? That's interesting. But how much of this is a Cinderella story, not just more than Butler this year, but in comparison of a Villanova or an NC State or an Arizona of 97. You look at this UConn team, and Kemba Walker will hang in the NBA, but he'll never be anything special. You look at, I mean, honestly, the two guys off this team who might end up being the best pros are Jeremy Lamb, the freshman, and Ariaki, or whatever the hell his name is, because he's again, can't teach height, and he's physical and he's athletic. He might hang in the league for a few years, a shot blocker and a pick setter or whatever. This is not a team, when you look at it, Kevin, where you go, that's okay, down the road, a lot of these cats are going to be pros. So when you go in that context, how much of a Cinderella story is this team winning a national championship with the talent on hand?
Seriously, I mean, you hit it right there. The only NBA talent, guys that are going to actually mean something in the NBA are, Kemba, Oriaki, Jeremy Lamb, maybe a Shabazz Napier, if he develops and stays in school long enough. I'll put it this way. If Jeremy Lamb leaves this year, which, I wouldn't be shocked if he does, I think he's getting drafted ahead of Kemba.
Oh, yeah, he would be. He would be. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, because while we hear about potential and upside, I think we've seen the best of Kemba. I mean, he's a 6-foot shooting guard. I mean, that's never going to work, to your point, in the NBA. He's going to be forced to play the point, but he averaged 4 assists per game in college. That's because he played off the ball. So kind of can he play the point? Can he not? Do we take a flyer on this guy? He's going to be the wild card. I think he still goes mid-first round. But, yeah, it was kind of a Cinderella story because they're not littered with a lot of NBA talent on this team. Even Oriaki, I think he's kind of on the fence.
I agree. Yeah, he's just a big body.
Yeah, exactly. He's tall. He's tall. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll tell you, I think you hit the nail on the head about Lamb. I think and again, as crazy as it sounds, if Lamb came out and Walker came out, Lamb gets drafted ahead of Walker because of upside and high ceiling and potential. The kid's 6'6", shot over 50% from the floor and 3 in the Final Four. He plays defense. Again, he's going to fill out and get bigger and stronger and blah, blah, blah. He would go ahead of Kemba Walker. There is no doubt that Jeremy Lamb would be the highest draft pick from this team if they all came out this year.
Oh, absolutely.
Agree with you 100%.
Yeah, a lot of I think Jeremy's emergence this year was because of Kemba. A lot of Kemba's attention that he drew created open shots for him. This is why I was kind of disappointed, I guess, that Kemba didn't win the Naismith Player of the Year because he does more than just score. I mean, he does the intangibles. I don't think the eventual winner Jimmer does. I mean, Jimmer's the best scorer I've seen in college or recent memory. He reminds me of a J.J. Redick as far as the way he can fill it up. But I thought Kemba just did more for his team, got guys around him better, did the intangibles. I mean, the eventual champ, but I'm not even going to throw that into the mix. But I just thought he would have won the national championship because of those reasons. I mean, but he didn't. But anyway, back to my point. So yeah, Jeremy has a lot to thank Kemba about as far as his emergence this year. Beginning of the year, he looked timid. Looked like I'm thinking, how did this guy get a D1 scholarship? Now he's potentially talked as a lottery pick. That's one heck of a start to finish as your freshman season.
I believe you're correct. Kevin Burke, HoopDoctors.com. You can go read Kevin's stuff. It's always good, always a good deal. Brother, we'll talk to you again next week, and we'll be NBA playoffs or NBA or near the end of the regular season. It's got, 80 games left, right?
Yeah.
So
a few more weeks to go, man. We're almost there.
Yeah, we'll get into that next week with you, buddy. We appreciate it, Kev.
All right, Terry. Thanks, man.
Sports 630 KIDO, KIDOAM.com. Terry Ford Show.